he's a hell of a driver and a huge talent. We got a taste of that last year, and he won the round in Edmonton. And I think with myself, Will, and Elio, we're really going to feed off each other a lot this year and help each other and push each other a lot as we move forward.
So I guess you speak a little different Australian if you live in Toowoomba as opposed to Sydney.
Yes, indeed. And the key word there, he said, hey, we're all going to push each other. And Elio made it very clear after this weekend that he's thankful to have Will be on that team because he's pushing the both of those guys and is making them a better driver. I guess you better say that. I mean, that's what you got to.
And Robbie, you talk about how much work this racetrack is. Look at the bottom line there. Only 7 seconds of a lap do you ever get under 1 G of cornering here with a max of 3.8. You're working hard here all the time.
And one of the keys to this race is going to be manage yourself as a driver. The physical side of this race. You want to set yourself up that you got plenty to give the last 20 laps, along with your car, your gearbox, your tires.
Lindy.
Well, Roger Penske is usually in Ryan Briscoe's ear. He's not here this weekend. He's at Indy for the Brickyard. So Eric Houghton, who's the engineer for Briscoe, he has stepped in for Roger. I'm told the team is all ready to constantly update him as this is going on. And guys, I have a feeling this is kind of like the Chip Ganassi thing. He's not here either. Barry Wanzer stepped in on Dario's pit box. And Barry told me beforehand, even when Chip's not here, it's like he is here.
And I can guarantee you that Chip Ganassi is in major celebration mode right now because his team and driver Jamie McMurray won the Brickyard 400 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today. All right, there is the 5th place car of Ryan Briscoe. And as I indicated, there's quite a bit of separation until you get back to the 6th place car, and that is Simona Di Silvestro. Boy, but she's first in class at this point. And Robbie Floyd is there.
Michael, what are you saying to Simona? She already made a pass on EJ Viso earlier. Get in that rhythm, find your mode.
Oh, absolutely. This track's about settling in, getting yourself to the last stop, and then you race the position there. I think you'll find everybody here is pretty much heading for a specific lap that they want to stop on.
Think of her any different because she's a female out there? I mean, you were so happy with her yesterday. I mean, you can't look at her any different, can you?
She's a remarkable talent. I mean, she's a rookie. She's got very little time in these cars. This is probably the most difficult racetrack that we run at as far as road circuits. And to come here and qualify first in your group yesterday and then wind up 7th overall, it's truly remarkable.
Simona Di Silvestro trying to find that rhythm, also being concerned about fuel.
She's coming off her best finish of the season. She was 9th last weekend at Toronto, and Thomas Scheckter apparently has torn off the front nose of the car and gets a replacement.
Very quick wing change for Thomas Scheckter, but that's just when you heard Michael Cannon talk about settling in. You don't want to be settling in and knocking off the front nose.
Well, not when you're only 10 laps into this thing because you're not close to any window. So he's still going to have to come in for 2 more stops, and he's under green right now.
While we look at the guys up front, we'll tell you that Tony Kanaan has moved up 6th position, is 18th. Marco Andretti has moved up 5. Tracy up 5. Baguette up 3, and Alex Lloyd is up 2 at this moment. On board with Tony Kanaan, who is running in 18th position, just back of Bertrand Baguette.
IndyCar racing from
the UFC is at Camp Versus. Next Sunday, surging phenom John Jones takes on veteran striker Vladimir Machusenko. Plus, it's the showdown of explosive middleweights Mark Munoz and Yushin Okami. The UCF Live next Sunday at 9 Eastern, all a part of Camp Versus. Up front, it is Will Power with about an 0.8 of a second lead on Elio Castroneves. Just a matter of a few car lengths. There is Tony Kanaan running in 18th position.
And you know, even though we say at this airport circuit you have all this wide track and it's bumpy and it's opportunity for passing, it still is difficult to pass. Just because it's wide and all that pavement's there doesn't mean you can make it easy clean pass. You really have to set it up and have a good run off these corners. And if your car is sliding around and you can't get the power down to get that run, you're not going to get the pass done.
Back up front, it is Power slightly ahead of Helio Castroneves. Jack, what about the pit window here?
Bob, as I said at the start of the show, I think you got to look at around lap 30. But unlike most races that we have, you know, most of the pits are concrete, at least where the teams service their car. Take a look at this. It's all blacktop. They're 40-foot stalls, but do you see the wet? Do you see the weepers? Now, this is Helio Castroneves' pit stall. Since the start of the race, they've had blowers out there trying to get these weepers. They just gave up trying to dry it off. This is going to create a potential problem, especially when you're finished with your service. And if you light up your tires and you hit that, well, you can get sideways, Robbie, real quick.
And Jack, when you're talking about that pit window at around 30, that's sort of the middle of the pit window. If you were someone running near the back of the pack and you want to take a gamble, you could stop on lap 25. But people like Will Power, those that are leading, you heard Michael Cannon say, we want to settle in and we know where we want to stop. That lap will be more like lap 34. Now, Paul Tracy, we saw him make the contact right in this area with Rafael Matos, and I thought I saw a little piece of front end plate fly off. And now his march to the front is not as quick as it was. So when he got in there a little bit of that chrome horn, I think he lost some of that right front wing. And now without all your right front wing, it's going to be tough to be fast.
Here is Takuma Sato running back in 12th position for KB Racing Technology. There is Paul Tracy. His finishes this year in the 2 races that he has been in, 14th at Watkins Glen and 13th at Toronto last weekend. See
there
anything?
You can see where some of it's gone at the front end of that, but it's not the area that's creating downforce for there. So his balance still maybe should remain the same. The problem is if it is busted, is it going to get worse?
Just behind Paul is Marco Andretti. This is a replay from earlier when he had the slight contact with
You'll
Matos.
See it bend, and that little piece you go, there it goes, off to the right. And what a shame for Rafael Matos. And I'll say that, you know, Paul Tracy likes to be aggressive, and he is a fast starter, but he'll know that he was in the wrong spot there. He'll feel bad for Matos. He was just trying to push and didn't clear soon enough.
And that's identical what he did a year ago to his teammate at the time, who was Mario Moraes.
Well, he'll get less trouble for doing that to Matos than he did to his teammate, that's for sure.
Yeah, Jimmy and Kevin will be a little less forgiving.
They call him the Thrill from West Hill. From a suburb of Toronto, of course, was loved by the fans in Toronto last weekend, and the Canadian fans are also pulling for him and Alex Tagliani.
And when we were just looking at that, you could see he just kind of looked over to his right mirror. So he definitely is feeling a little bit of pressure from behind with Marco. I mean, again, Paul's not going to do anything with moving over and giving any windows to Marco, but he knows he's there.
Whoa, you see that? He just, normally you launch, you saw, Robbie, that shot we had of him launching through the air of that turn 2 curve. Normally you do that in qualifying, not in the middle of the race.
And the National Guard car, driven by Dan Weldon, is running 21st.
And he's been chasing this car all weekend, really, since they rolled it off. But, you know, the motto there is never give up. And, you know, you never lay back. You always keep pushing, no matter what.
And on the telemetry, when you see the steering and how far that trace went over into the blue, the rule of thumb is the more steering, the slower you go, because that's more scrub. If you can get the car to turn, obviously there's tight corners here, but the less steering that you can get away with, whether it doesn't matter if it's road course or oval, that is the key to speed.
A great theory, if you can apply it.
Second place finisher at this year's Indianapolis 500 for Panther Racing and National Guard, Dan Weldon. Coming off corner number 12. If you go straight ahead, you enter the pits. If you turn right, you go to turn 13.
Right at 140 miles an hour through
there. Here's Mario Moraes, and he's running 14th. There's Takuma Sato and Hideki Muto.
Now Scheckter will be a lap down because he came in and got a nose, but he certainly got a KB sandwich there. He's going to the outside. Moraes is taking a look on the inside of 10 now.
Oh, he's gonna make it.
And that's, he He made a good run through turn 9 onto that one straightaway. He used up all the runways he came off there. That's why he went to the outside of our screen to keep that momentum going. And then he had